Welcome. Cool to have you join me today. I am Tim Fortescue, an IFS trained practitioner specializing in spiritual growth and healing. And I work with folks who've experienced religious trauma and those that are just seeking guidance on their spiritual journey. But I'm glad to serve as an ally and just to walk alongside, however it makes sense. You can find more about me on my website, faithfullygrowing.com. And as we go throughout the time today, if you're joining live, type your questions in the chat and I'll engage with them at the end of our time. And if you're watching a recording, go ahead and put your questions in too, and I'll continue. I'll engage with those questions next week. I tried to do this each Tuesday at the same time, which is 9 a.m. here in the U.S., which is Central Time, which is the same as Chicago. And if you like what you get, and I appreciate that thumbs up already, but like, share, subscribe to the channel so that you can be updated when I go live or post new content. And I will be posting a recording of what I do today if your system needs more time than I allow. And you can also watch the recording of this live. Before I jump into our content, I want to encourage you to sign up for my donation-based products if you're looking for more support. That includes a monthly Zoom drop-in where you can ask me your questions in person. And all I ask is that you make a donation of any amount to keep IFS and coaching accessible to all. I encourage you to sign up for a monthly recurring donation if you can, because it just gives me more consistency, or knowing more of the consistency of donations as I plan and budget. So check that out if you'd like to. And additionally, on my website, you can sign up for 25 of the most popular meditations that I've done from an IFS perspective, and that's completely free. And so check those out on my website if it makes sense and if you'd like to. And so today I'm going to talk just a little bit about the dynamics of our internal system, and then I'll lead us in a meditation to check in with our parts. But IFS, or if you're new, that stands for Internal Family Systems. It views the mind as having parts that interact similarly to families and groups. And the focus is on how the parts relate to each other and how to help them move from extreme positions or roles to restore balance and harmony to our system. And some key concepts to keep in mind are, first of all, the systems approach. In our internal system, we work with multiple parts in a systemic way, and that's essential to see them and how they operate. And we'll look at that just a little more. And changes in one part can disrupt the whole system, causing other parts to react, and it just offsets the balance there. And internal conflicts, hierarchies, and alliances exist among our parts. And the interactions between parts can be overwhelming without the concepts that IFS borrows from family therapy. And it's helpful to know that the self, who we are at our core before we took on the burdens that some of our parts carry, acts as a wise and calm leader, and it mediates and harmonizes the parts. But our parts can have some complex interactions. For example, parts of our mind interact in different ways, forming alliances and oppositions as they try to gain influence. And we want to seek balance. And that's what we're doing in these meditations. And our inner system seeks balance. And those extreme roles that our parts can get into when they're out of balance may lead to another part having to compensate more, which continues to affect the balance and keep us out of balance. And here are some ways that IFS parallels with family systems. First of all, similarities often exist between a person's internal system and their family of origin. That impacts us greatly. And changes in our inner or external world can affect both systems. So when we do our own work, we're better parents, for example. And when we're aware of this system's approach in our families, it helps us become more balanced and centered. And I know I see this with my young kids. And so it's a both and approach. And then let me just give you just a couple of common dynamics of the ways that parts interact. They can react just like people in friendly ways or in conflicted ways. Parts can be friendly and different or in conflict with each other. And alliances can form to work toward common goals and to avoid pain. Some parts take charge, maybe in a more of a hierarchical way, giving orders, acting as internal taskmasters, those managers. And other parts might care for in extreme, caretaking ways, or they may criticize other parts. And extreme emotions and thoughts cause internal dynamics to become rigid and dysfunctional. And that's when we're burdened. And parts struggle for control and try to push their agendas. So let me kind of conclude all of this, and then I'm going to lead us in a meditation to check in with that system. First, understanding the dynamics of our internal system through IFS can provide valuable insights, and recognizing the roles and interactions of our parts and using the self and trusting the self and knowing that we have a wise, compassionate leader within us helps achieve inner harmony and balance. And IFS, it compares the mind, and there are many similarities to external systems like a family where different parts have roles and feelings, helping people find balance by treating these parts just like family members needing to get along. And remember in all of this that they're nomad parts. And so hopefully that helps you to understand some of the inner dynamics. And as we check in today, be aware of some of those alliances where parts are teaming up to work together, but there may be some reactive parts that oppose those parts to where there is conflict because there are many polarizations are real. And it's what we experience a lot in this work. And so just be aware of that internal dynamic as we check in with our parts for a bit today. And so as we begin the meditation, just pause and settle in where you are. You can close your eyes if you'd like to, but if you prefer, just let your gaze rest softly in front of you. Begin to notice that internal family and those parts, those thoughts, feelings, actions, impulses, beliefs. Who's showing up today? And invite them to come in however makes sense for you. Let them know that you see them. Thank them for their courage in showing up. Notice those parts that may sit together. Those more proactive parts that may say, oh, we're the planners here. We got to keep this meeting on track. Maybe there's some on the other side that say meeting. Well, I didn't know we were coming to a meeting. Get me out of here. Parts that align around those. And let them know that you see them, both sides. See if they can look and see you. See if there's anyone else that may want to join. And we just want to be curious for a bit and give parts a voice that may want a voice. And then check in and see how you're feeling toward these parts that are showing up. And if you can, just see if you can extend them just a little bit of compassion. See if they can take that in. How are they responding? And from that place of compassion, see if there's some parts from either side, or maybe some don't fit in one or the other. Keeping more distance, no pressure to share, but see who may want to have a voice. Just give each of your parts a chance to speak, maybe share some of their fears or concerns. But if you can, just let them know that you're willing to listen, give some space, listen compassionately to what they have to share, and just wait and see what comes. Remind them who you are. Often our parts are younger. Maybe check in and see how old your parts are. And then let them know who you are today and that they're not alone. They don't have to work so hard. There's a team here. Let your parts keep sharing if they'd like to. And then what do you want to say to them? Maybe continue updating them on who you are, and yeah, just to respond to some of their comments or questions. Are they able to take that in? There may be some hesitation, and let them know that that makes sense. It may have been a while since you've seen some of these parts, maybe been a long while. And there's no shame there, but it makes sense that it may take time to build some trust. And that's why we're not going to go too far today. We're taking it slow. Just see if there's anything else before we wrap up. And before we end, just thank your parts for their courage in as much or as little as they shared or engaged. They're doing the best that they can. And let them know that you get that. And let them know this doesn't have to be the last time that you meet with them. You'd like to meet more often if they'd like that and if it feels right for you. Then, when it feels right and complete for now, you can bring your attention back to the present moment. You can open your eyes if they were closed and continue about your life. But thanks so much for joining me for this meditation. I'll hang around for just a bit. If you have questions, you want to put them in the chat. Grateful for those thumbs up. Uh, I'd be glad to engage with some of your questions, and know that if you're watching a recording, continue to put your questions in too, and I'll address them next week. Try to do this at the same time each week. And if you want to find more about me, you can go to my website, faithfullygrowing.com. All of my products are, and some of my services are donation based. And all I ask is that folks make a donation of any amount. I encourage folks to sign up monthly at that amount, whatever you decide, if you can, and know that you can cancel that at any time. And it's not required, but it's helpful for me as I budget and plan. Additionally, over there, if you haven't already, you can sign up. I have 25 guided meditations that I've got good feedback on, and you can access those totally free. Christine, how can I engage with parts? I didn't hear any parts during this meditation. And Christine, first of all, just be gentle with yourself, stay curious, and know that often when we feel numb, and maybe numb is not the right word, but when you feel like I don't hear any parts speaking, often there's a part there that can be blocking, and it's not bad. And I would encourage you to get curious about First of all, there may be a part that really wants more parts to speak. There could be a part that's just numb, or that's just blocking a deeper engagement. And so I'd say don't push anything. Just see if you can send compassion. And what I have found is that when we build trust with these parts that may not want to share a whole lot, as they get to know us more, they'll pop out just like little kids that are unfamiliar with this new territory. And sometimes that trust takes a while, but just keep showing up, being curious. And yeah, that numbing part, just be curious about that numbing part. And just, yeah, where do you notice it, in or around your body? And then just kind of check in, realizing that it's a part can go a long way. See if you can send it some compassion and say, you don't have to share. You've numbed for a long time, and rightly so. You've kept me safe, but things may be different now. Can you trust me a little bit? Yes, I sometimes see a small girl on a raft in the middle of a lake, and I wonder, I would get curious if that numbing part is that could be that numbing part opening up a little bit to help you access that young girl that it's been protecting for a long time. Or it could be the numbing part. I don't want to dictate for you, but that it seems that that part may be opening up a little bit. And I would thank it for that. Don't bypass that numbing part, but thank it for its courage and just giving you a little glimpse in. Uh, and just see if it can let you go a little farther. And then that little girl may want to share. And so it seems like you're on the right track there. And so just keep showing up, and feel free. I forgot to mention, but if it's helpful, you can send me an email anytime to tim@faithfullygrowing.com too. All right, I'll hang around for just a bit. And thanks so much, Christine, for your courage in chiming in here for sure. Okay, and if it would ever be helpful to folks, I do offer a free consult, no obligation, and I see one-on-one clients, and I also do group coaching. I have a series starting next Friday, and so if you're interested on doing a little deeper work, either in a group or on your own, I'd be glad to connect further. And so just want to throw that out there. But so grateful for this community. Thanks for showing up. Join me next week and invite others and subscribe to the channel. I hate this marketing stuff. I don't do so well and forget half of it. But thanks so much for your grace, for showing up, and have a great week. And let's stay curious and be gentle with ourselves. All right, take care.